Hey, welcome to March the 3rd and 5th homework help for Miss Bailey, Miss Henderson, Miss Jakovich, was Miss Lucy. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was a marriage take place. It is now Miss White. Miss Lucy is now Mrs. White. Okay, let's go ahead and go on. Hooray for me. Anyways, looking at Monday's homework, March the 3rd, Ramona is walking 10,000 feet for a fundraiser. She walks at a rate of 270 feet per minute. This is the situation as modeled by the equation below, where D represents the remaining feet Ramona has to walk and T represents the number of minutes she's already walked. Remember, when you look at the equation's already handed to us. So it's going to be pretty simple because they give it to us. We need to understand the letters. D represents the remaining feet. So my D right there is going to tell us how much is left. Hence, that's why we are subtracting. Okay? The T represents the time that she's already walked. Okay? If we look at the T and all these charts and the answer choices, all of the T's are the same. All of them are the same. So all we need to do is make our own chart using the same variables for the T, and they're given the equation they gave us already. Okay, the equation was 10,000 minus 270 T. Let's try our first T, and every chart is 1. So let's go with 1 first. Plug in 1. 270 times 1. Following order of operation, I'm going to actually multiply this part out first. So then I just have 10,000 minus 270. So I know that's not going to be 10,000 because I am taking some off. So it's not going to be C at all, and it's not going to be A at all. If I look, these two answers are the same. So let's move down. It looks like the next two out of the two answer choices I have here are different. So all I have to try is the 3. So now I'm going to have my 10,000 minus 270. This time I want to plug in the T as being 3. And because of that, what that means is I want to multiply 270 times 3 first. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the side somewhere just so I can do my scratch work. 270 times 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 7 is 21. You put your number and you carry your lead number, the number in front, 21. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 more is 8. So that means I'm going to take my 10,000 and I'm going to subtract my 810. 0 minus 0 is 0. Have to borrow from that. That became a 9. And that became 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. And 9 minus 8 is 1. Whoops, I see what I did. I actually left off an extra 0, guys. Sorry about that. So that became a 9. Sorry. So it's 9,190. I knew I did something wrong, but I couldn't find my mistake. So our answer is B. Because this is 460 and that wasn't enough taken off. So that is not correct. Okay. You can either go on or I'll see you back tomorrow night and you can fast forward through this problem. Okay, Tuesday. Which of the following statements best describes the data in the table below? Guys, this is where we struggle a lot. If you look at every answer choice, it starts out the same. Let me grab my highlighter for a second. It says the value of y, the value of y, the value of y, and the value of y. All that is saying when it says the value is how much something's worth. So what this is really saying is it's saying y is equal to all that stuff. This one again is saying y is equal to y is equal to blah, blah, blah. Here is the same thing. Y is equal to. In order to do these, you have to know what these words mean. For less. What operation is it when it's less? Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Well, that means we are subtracting. So if it says for less than the value of x, that means whatever x is, I'm subtracting 4. This one right here, 2 less than the value of x. So this one's saying I have x minus 2. This C is saying twice. And when we say twice, what we're doing is we're multiplying by 2. So twice the value of x. And then decrease again. Decrease means we're subtracting 4 more again. So that means we're going to have 2 times our x minus our 4. Okay, this one right here. Half the value of x decreased by 4. Half is the same thing as dividing by 2. So what they're saying here is x, whatever x is, I want to divide it by 2. And then once I get that answer, x divided by 2, then I want to subtract 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at that. Okay, guys, the tricky thing about this one is you might have an answer choice that works for them, but not for all of them, and it has to fit everyone. For example, this one right here, if I were to take 0, and I plug it in for the x, 0, take away 4. That does give me negative 4. But so that's okay. That's a maybe. If I plug it in here, 0 minus 2, that gives me a negative 2. So this answer definitely I know I can get rid of because the answer is supposed to be a negative 4. Here, 2 times 0. What is 2 times 0? 2 times 0 is 0 minus 4 again. That gives me a negative 4. But see, if I would have quit up here, then I might not be right. You need to go through all the answer choices just to double check. Same thing here, 0. 0 divided by 2 is 0 minus 4 equals negative 4 still. So this is also a maybe. Okay, so I have 3 choices. You got to keep going. Why don't I pick, let me get the highlighter. Why don't I plug in this 5? So we got a better call here, what we're looking at. So let me switch back to a pen. If I plug in the 5, let me draw a line here and separate this out. Then that means 5 minus 4. Right away, I know this is not it because 5 take away 4 is 1 and the answer is supposed to be 6. So I can get rid of A now. If I go, and I already got rid of B a while ago, so if I go down here, I have 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10, and 10 take away 4. So basically I have 10 take away 4 is equal to 6. So that is correct. This one is not going to be right because 5 divided by 2 is 2.5 minus 4. 2.5 minus 4 is going to be a negative 2.5. It's definitely not going to be 6 because, again, I'm subtracting that and the dividing makes it even smaller. So the correct answer here is C. Okay, moving on. Similar triangles, right away. Similar triangles, I'm setting up a proportion table. You can set them up 8 different ways. Since it's separate, I'm looking at what I see first. I see the 8 and then I see the x. So I'm going to set mine up 8 over x. So I set up the long side over the short side. So that means over here on the smaller figure, I'm going to set it up the same way. I'm going to set up my long side. The long side is 5 and the short side is 3. This is where our value is, so we want to go this way. And the 5 can't go into 8 evenly. There's nothing I can do to reduce. So the best way here, can't go side to side. 5 doesn't go into 3. I'm going to go ahead and do my cross multiply and divide. So 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24 divided by 5. Right away, I know that 5 can go into 24 only 4 times because 5 would be 25 and that's too much. Looking at my answer choices, I don't even have to finish, guys. The only answer that has 4 in it as a whole number is C. So the answer has to be 4 4/5. Okay, I really hope this helped for your homework. Remember, our portions are going to be a lot. Everything that was on this homework right here and in this video, you could see possibly see a lot of that on STAAR Test. So please make sure you're doing your homework or asking your teacher questions or going for tutorials for extra help. I'll see you again next week. Mrs. White, signing out.